Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of our King's Quest 2 AGD Interactive Remake. Okay, so I was a little bit stuck in the last episode, stuck with what to do with a snake. I feel slightly guilty, but I resorted to looking at a walkthrough for just that part, figured out what to do, but realized that we forgot to do something last time as well. So if we just exited Hagatha's cave with this nightingale. So when we look at it,
still has a cloth draped over it.
It's got the cloth draped over it. When we
you remove the cloth from the cage.
Remove the cloth from the cage. Look at the bird.
Looking at the bottom of the cage, you find that a letter has become stuck to it. You peel it off. The paper is slightly crumpled and dirty, having somehow become stuck to the bottom of a bird cage.
All right, so let's read this letter and see what it has to say.
The paper is slightly... You read the letter.
My dear sister, it has been a while since my last letter to you, and quite an age since we last spoke. Such are the busy lives we lead. I know of your preoccupation with eliminating your competition and wish you well in that ongoing endeavor. As for my part, the servant I have owned for the past 17 years is soon to come of age. It will almost be a shame to kill this one, for he is quite adept at his chores, but the tradition must be observed at all times. I shall require a replacement in the not-too-distant future. Perhaps I should think up a new name for my next slave, though it is much easier when I need only remember one. I've asked the father to notify me at once, should he hear of any likely candidates. Speaking of which, though it is in no way my place to question the will of the father, for surely he has the best interest of all his followers at heart, does he not spend so much time locating that item of legend which he has been seeking for almost a millennium? While he is not to be second-guessed, I do wonder, is he so assured of its existence that he is willing to turn his attention away from his flock for so long a time? As for our remote brother, he seems increasingly interested in the ladies these days. I believe he has his eye on a royal couple who are expecting to conceive a girl within the year, or so the signs say. I must confess, if he's prepared to wait so many long years for the child's maturation before abducting her, then he has far more patience than I. I wait your reply, dear sister, and hope that this letter finds you well. If you have the chance to speak with the father, perhaps you will inquire of his commitment to the item he seeks. I would advise the utmost discretion, naturally. Your loyal and by far better sibling, M.
The letter puzzles you, but you put it away and continue your quest.
So you see, we get 1 point for that. We missed that before, so oops. But I don't like using the walkthroughs. I don't intend to use it unless I get really, really stuck. But I think we should be good now. Okay, so unfortunately, we got to go back and redo this part, but that's okay.
I have acquired your nightingale.
You have? Then please give it to me.
You offer the nightingale to Angelina. The sheer elation on her face almost makes the whole risk worth the while. She snatches it from you and proceeds to fuss over the bird.
If you don't mind, about the lamp you promised me and
The shop.
Yeah. Oh.
Don't you mean...
Of course.
You hear Angelina muttering cheerfully to herself as she exits.
Finally, I have the final ingredient for that marvelous youth potion. I'm going to beat you to the punch, my dear Hagatha. Serves you right for hoarding this sweet, juicy thing to yourself.
You feel a nauseous tinge in your stomach. Well, at least the lamp is now yours. A rather beaten and tarnished brass lamp is positioned on the countertop. You take the old lamp. The oil lamp is fashioned of brass, and you rub the lamp and wait. A note?
Okay, so hard like a stone and white like the snow stands silent the man who guards what's below. So that's how we figured out this guy here.
You examine the statue up close. Aha! There is a hidden latch on it. You flick the latch. A trapdoor opens. You close the trapdoor behind you. You see a letter on the desk.
Okay, and
You
we read this
the
last
letter
time.
sitting on the desk.
This is to Angelina from her sister Hagatha. So that implies that there's 3 sisters, right? Because the other one was M, right? I think that's right. Anyways, we see...
There is a soft pile of down and dust. A beam of light filters through from a crack in the floorboards above. The down is dirty, and you've had quite enough of dust from when the castle cleaners went on strike. You see a colorful, rolled-up carpet.
Yo, let's take the carpet.
As you pick up the carpet,
I did it! I did it! The youth potion is finally finished. All I need to do now is drink it.
Angelina, show yourself, you scurvy wench.
Agatha? My dear! What an unexpected surprise!
Don't you play the fool with me. I know you stole it.
Stole? Really, I do not know.
Silence. For your lies and deceit, there can be only one consequence.
No, please. I can explain.
I said silence. Oh, and one more thing. Your invitation to join us is revoked. What is this? Ah, the youth potion at last. Oh no. Drat. Now what was that spell for removing floorboards? Curses. I shall have to go back and look it up.
there is a soft pile of down and dust. You fish around in the pile of down and successfully retrieve the youth potion. You much prefer the lightness of your own sword. Besides, this one is only an antique, and thus is probably not suitable for combat. The room has a musty smell and feels a bit moist. You'd better not move anything down here. Someone might hear you. Cautiously, you open the trapdoor.
Okay, let's close the trapdoor back up.
You flick the latch. The trapdoor closes and conceals itself into the floorboards once more.
Okay. All right, so we're in the same place we were before with one additional point for reading the letter that came out of the birdcage. I wish that when we had done it last time, it would have...
You unroll the magic carpet.
It would have said, hey, when you...
As you ascend higher, you realize...
Hey, when you uncover the birdcage, a letter falls out. Now, I would have been nice, but I shouldn't complain. It's my fault for missing it. All right. So we have the snake.
A snake blocked... You dangle the shimmering opal in front of the snake. It soon falls hypnotized in typical snake fashion. It's too dark. You can't see down there.
Stick your hand in and see what
You
happens.
reach into the cavity and feel around. What is this? You've discovered a button hidden inside the rock. You press it and wait to see what happens next.
It's the guy
In
from
an
Quest for
instant, a
Glory.
man stands beside you. He appears to be somewhat of an adventurer, much like yourself.
Greetings. I am King Graham of Daventry.
The newcomer nods in greeting. Without a word, he respectfully appraises you. You notice about him the manner of one who has only recently learnt the meaning of heroism.
From where do you hail, good sir?
The man opens his mouth to answer, but then pauses to consider that question. Evidently deciding that irrelevant exposition would serve neither party, he casually gestures to the hole in the rock behind you.
Might I inquire something of your identity?
After a brief search of his own person, the man pulls out a scroll card and hands it to you. You unroll it, and it reads, "Having fulfilled the requirements in accordance with the statutes of the famous Adventurers Correspondence School, the bearer is a qualified would-be hero." The man also shows you a medallion. Upon it are the words, "Hero of Spielberg." You reverently return the scroll to the man.
You don't say much, do you?
With a sigh of resignation, the man shakes his head silently.
Surely you might speak to me of your adventures.
The man becomes quite enthused about the prospect of relating his most recent adventure to you. Just as he is about to speak, however, you notice something on the ground that the man must have dropped. You retrieve the paper. It appears to be a scroll. Upon it is some writing. Disclaimer: you have just witnessed a rather shameless plug for the remake of Quest for Glory 2 Trial by Fire by the entities of AGD Interactive. Available now. As you read the writing, the words are ingrained in your mind. The scroll disappears.
Oh, I love it. And that's the same wording when in a Quest for Glory game when you learn a spell. That's what happens. It becomes ingrained in your mind and the scroll disappears. That's awesome.
The button now seems to be jammed. There's nothing more that you can do with it. There's nothing under the log, so don't bother moving it.
All right, what do we have here?
The cave is adorned with the most beautiful coverings you've ever seen. The material sparkles in the light from outside the cave. There's almost something unreal about this brilliant decor. Some incredibly valuable furniture has been placed here. You wonder how it is protected against the elements, as there are no obvious means of sealing the cave. A neatly displayed scroll hangs on the wall. However, its archaic symbols and wording will forever remain a mystery to you. This long staff looks magical in nature. Enchanter's staffs are very powerful objects. You dare not touch this one, for fear of the consequences you may bring upon yourself. You have better things to do than to try out the furniture. You have better things.
All right, let's check out the book.
An ancient book lies open on the workbench. Though its pages are torn and faded, the cover is still a bright blood red. You flip through the book entitled, Ye Old Book of Enchantments, Causes and Cures. The first half contains a list of enchantments. These do not interest you, as you have no desire to inflict inconvenience upon others. However, the Cures section does capture your curiosity. While browsing, you spy a promising paragraph.
While casting enchantments upon others may provide you with many daily hours of fun, do not ignore the danger that a miscast spell may have upon your own person. For this reason, you should prepare a simple item with which you can protect yourself against the effects of an enchantment, as well as providing a means for reversing said spell should it be deemed necessary. Only the power of the emerald can properly dispel an enchantment, and thus the steps to create one are as follows. Firstly, heat a blue mineral and yellow vegetable. A plant is an acceptable alternative. Together until they coagulate into a greenish liquid. Stir the mixture with a white feather. Drop into a perfectly clear crystal and recite. Heed now these words, crystal perfect. Green is thy hue, restore, correct. Guard well my form, preserve, protect. You will now have the means to safeguard yourself, should your enchantments ever get out of hand. To restore that which is under the effect of an enchantment, simply allow a strong light to pass through your emerald at the subject, then behold the restoration. Okie dokie. So, what do we need? A blue mineral, alright. I'm going to just take a picture so that I can refer to that. We need a blue mineral, a yellow vegetable, a plant is acceptable, Mix them together. Stir the mixture with a white feather. Drop into a perfectly clear crystal. Okie dokie. We have... Well... We have this flower and this feather.
The cave is a... You run... You have better... You approach the workbench for a closer look. These elaborate candlesticks are quite expensive looking. When lit, this device heats the beaker and any contents that it contains. A wick leads into the base, which is made of flint stone. A clear beaker. It is useful for mixing various fluids, chemicals, and minerals together.
Yeah, so...
You toss the sickly yellow flower into the beaker.
A blue mineral?
It is a slight...
That's not this, right?
There's no...
A blue mineral?
You toss the brooch into the beaker.
I mean... That's what I got.
Unfortunately, you cannot cast fire from your fingertips.
Come on now.
Someone might notice. There's no reason you can't.
How do I start fire?
You strike the blade of your sword against the flint stone. It sparks, and the wick catches alight. You watch, fascinated, as the two unlikely objects melt under the heat of the magical flame.
All right. Stir with a white feather.
You stir the mixture carefully with the white feather. It soon dissolves in the hot liquid. Extinguishing candle flames with your bare fingertips always seems to result in a nasty burn. You are never any good at party tricks. It would be best not to remove the beaker from its stand.
Okay, so we still need a crystal to pour that stuff into.
You never did pay much attention during magic classes at Daventry High School. As a result, nothing in these books will help you. The scroll is nailed to the wall.
Okay.
Brandishing your sword might make... The diamond and sapphire earrings are very delicate. This odd circular device intrigues you. It depicts several different symbols around its outer rim. You think that this vial... You can't... You approach the world. Nothing happens. Nothing. Nothing. The ancient book bears the title. You flip the first.
Okay. Heat a blue mineral and a yellow vegetable plant together until they coagulate into a greenish liquid. Stir with a white feather. Drop this into a perfectly clear crystal. And recite the words. I do not have...
You run your hand over the fabrics, feeling the remarkable texture between your fingers.
I don't have a clear crystal.
You unroll the magic. The carpet begins.
I mean, I saw a couple crystal balls. I think Hagatha had one, and I'm pretty sure there was one.
You do not want to go back.
Where do I get a crystal ball from?
An ancient book. You flip the first.
Okay.
You approach. You flip through the first. A clear beaker. It is useful. There's nothing inside.
Okay, so
The diamond and sapphire earrings. The brooch has an enormous sapphire.
I've got 2 blue gems here. I could probably use either, right?
You toss the earrings into the beaker. You toss the sickly yellow flower into the beaker. You strike the blade. You walk.
Okay. And we figure this part out.
You stir the mixture carefully.
Okay, now this is the goofy. This is crazy, right? I mean, I guess I need to. The lesson here is spend more time, like, actually looking at my inventory. Okay, so
This is the sword of the first king of Daventry. It dates back almost 1,000 years and has been passed down from king to king since that time. Try not to damage it. A magnificent clear crystal is embedded within its hilt.
what did we need? A magnificent clear crystal?
You managed to dislodge the crystal that had been set within the hilt of the sword almost a millennium ago. You feel a tinge of guilt and wonder what all the past monarchs of Daventry would say if they saw you damaging ancient crown property.
All right.
The stunning clear stone used to belong to your ancient sword. You drop the crystal in and watch, amazed, as the green liquid slowly seeps into it. The emerald has not yet been enchanted. You mustn't remove it from the beaker yet.
Oh yeah, I need to say the words.
You flip through the book. The first half contains a You get no reply.
Heed now these words. Crystal, perfect. Green is thy hue. Restore, correct. Guard well my form. Preserve, protect.
You recite the words correctly, line for line, and sure enough, only a brilliant emerald remains in the glass beaker. You quickly blow the flame out so as not to overheat the emerald and cause damage to it. Picking it up gingerly, you're amazed that the emerald took virtually no time at all to cool.
Okay. The lesson here is always look at your inventory
Your
items,
crystal
right?
has become a dazzling emerald. You sense magic in its refracted light.
And it looks like I can't do any. I don't want to take the staff, right?
You have better things. Enchanter.
I
The
can't.
scroll is nailed to the wall.
All right. And we assume that this is an enchanted snake, right?
As you direct the sun's light through the emerald at the snake, you behold a wondrous transformation. Before you now stands a magnificent winged horse.
Whoa.
Thank you for freeing me. A horrid enchanter transformed me into that legless thing after I refused to be his steed.
That was quite a gamble, to refuse an enchanter.
True, but I could not have accepted, even if I had wanted to. For I am a disciple of the cloud, and can serve no land dweller.
Disciple of the cloud? What does that mean?
First, tell me of what you seek up here.
You take a deep breath, then explain about the Door of Destiny, the gems of nature, and your present quest to locate the growth gem.
So, you seek the air gem?
Yes, that is right. You know of it?
Most certainly. But you will not be able to reach it by any means available to you or any of your kind. I would gladly take you to it, but alas, the enchanter took and hid from me my bridle. Without it, we could search for 1,000 years and still never find the cloud spirit.
Where did he hide your bridle?
I do not know. Perhaps a clue may be found in that blackguard's abode behind me.
Okay. Can I pet the horse?
You could mount the horse, but it would not be able to find the cloud spirit without its bridle.
I wanted to pet it. Can I feed it? No. All right. Well, he says we can look in the house, so let's look in the house.
This long staff looks magical in nature. Enchanters. A collection of books are stacked side by side on a nearby shelf. Most of the titles are written in a mysterious language that you don't understand, so you suspect that they are about magic. Some incredibly valuable furniture. A neatly displayed scroll hangs on the wall. However, its archaic symbols and wording will forever remain a mystery to you. That is not enchanted. That is not that. Despite what some say about your good fortune, you are not enchanted. Some incredibly you have better things to. There is. You have better. You run. You have no. You have better things. You run your hand over the fabrics. Feel. You have better. You hear footsteps approaching. Uh-oh, the enchanter has caught you in his lair. He twirls his hands, aims them at you, and then utters some words under his breath.
Use the emerald.
You feel a tingling sensation all over your body as the enchantment attempts to transform you into whatever the enchanter has fancied. At the same time, you also feel the comforting energy of the emerald shielding you. The enchanter's twisted smile turns downwards. He scowls at you. There is a look of panic on the man's face. He does not dare breathe.
I hereby order you to depart from Kalima forever, never to trouble its citizens again, lest you earn the fullness of my wrath.
The enchanter looks baffled. You sigh inwardly and try again.
Leave. If you come back, then you will get it.
The enchanter nods frantically, as much as he can without cutting his own neck on your sword edge. He gestures quickly with his hands.
Okay.
You notice that some writing has been engraved into the wall. You read the inscription.
In row of stones that number 6, half and a pair from left do pick. Quell then my spell, avoid the tricks. What? All right, I gotta write this one down too. I'm taking a picture. In row of stones at number 6, half and a pair from left do pick. Quell then my spell, avoid the tricks.
The engraving on the wall reads, in row of stones that number 6, half and a pair from left do pick. Quell then my spell, avoid the tricks. You are standing in an empty cave. You are There's not much. There's not.
Well,
You need to be standing.
What is this spirit you speak of?
The essence of what you seek. It passes through us as we grow, all through our lives, though few are ever aware of it. You will know soon enough when I take you to it.
There's a rock up here. Fancy that. These rocks are actually part of the mountain, jutting out of the ground. There's no way you could move them. These rocks.
In a row of stones?
This odd circular device intrigues you. It depicts several different symbols around its outer rim. The sun, a mountain range, a drop of water, and a cloud. The brooch has an enormous sapphire encircled by 2 rows of glittering diamonds. The center stone is smooth to the touch. The center... Nothing happens. Nothing. The candle... You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet rises into the air again. The carpet begins to descend. Touching the door of destiny further will not aid you. It has stated what it requires before it can open. You had best venture forth and collect the gems. You cannot move them. Besides, they prevent you from falling to... There is a cluster of rocks nearby. Don't bother. A healthy baby tree grows near the spring. There's no reason for you to manipulate. Don't bother. The rocks... You taste it. Ah, fresh spring water.
In row of stones that number 6.
Rocks are synonymous with nature. Don't...
I'm looking for like a circle of stones or something, and I just don't see one.
You have arrived at quite... You get a good...
Where was Hagatha's place? This way?
There is an enormous rock mound nearby. Vines and creepers run down it and twist through the cracks and crevices. Beneath the mound are some smaller stones.
Maybe it's right here. Stones at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it this? Maybe? Ah, yes.
You try to lift the stone, but it will not budge. You try to... There's no...
Okay, let's read this again. Okay. In row of stones at number 6. So here's 6. So half and a pair. Half and a pair from left to pick. quell then my spell, avoid the tricks?
You try to...
Like, what?
You bend over and hold the emerald above the stone so that the sun's light channels through it. Incredible! The rock has transformed into a silver-studded bridle.
Yo!
You take the bridle.
All right.
There's not enough room to... You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet begins to rise skyward. As you reach down to get the carpet, it vanishes into thin air without even so much as a puff of smoke.
Wait. We lost it? Well, it's a good thing there's a flying horse.
You slip the bridle over the horse's head. It whinnies its approval.
Come, climb upon my back.
All right, Falcor.
Hold on. This will be a little accelerating.
Sounds like Sean Connery.
The disciple of the cloud gracefully soars high into the sky. You grip the reins tightly and hold on for dear life as he swoops and dips between the clouds. After a time, he draws near to a thick patch of luminous mist. As you pass through it, the horse sets itself down, seemingly on top of a cloud.
It is all right. You can dismount now.
Believing that you have finally lost all sense of reason, you dismount and prepare for a very long drop. And find yourself standing on a cloud.
Why do you choose to serve this cloud spirit?
It is my destiny, and I must fulfill it, just as you must fulfill yours.
I was not aware that I had one.
All of us have a destiny. Some are predestined, others are determined by choice. I believe yours to be of the latter.
How is it possible that I can stand upon thin air?
Such are not the questions you should be asking. You have come for the Air Gem, or the Growth Gem, as it was once named by the ancients. It has not been termed thus without reason, for one who would have the gem as his own must prove himself grown and thus worthy of it.
Meaning, no disrespect.
Cloud Spirit.
Thank you. You must agree, Cloud Spirit, that I am a man fully grown, thus fulfilling your prerequisite.
A howling wind deafens you momentarily, though you feel nothing on your skin. The cloud spirit speaks again, a little more forcefully.
It is not enough that you have grown in body. That much is evident. It must be proven that you have also grown in both mind and soul. So on these shall you be tested.
Tested?
Those who bear the burden of king are expected to possess certain qualities. Your actions will be judged against the weight of these. It shall be seen whether you are deserving of your title. It shall be seen whether you are worthy of the Growth Gem.
After a moment of silence, the cloud spirit intones,
Behold your first test.
Can I save?
The mist around you clears, and you find yourself in a familiar place. This is Daventry, and furthermore, you are a child again. A slight dizziness overwhelms you for an instant. How strange, you no longer recall anything past this moment in time. It is as if this is happening again for the first time. Even stranger, you are still vaguely aware that you are undergoing a test of some kind, though for what purpose you cannot fathom. But look, it is Malvolio, your best friend. The two of you are deeply engrossed in a game of bat and ball.
Ouch!
Uh-oh! That sounds like the king now! What do we do?
You there.
Yes?
Yes? Is that how you address your liege?
No, your majesty, King Edward, sir. I mean, sire.
Which of you two boys threw that ball? The one that just happened to land on my head?
Always own it. Right? What are friends for? Why any sensible person would do it under the circumstance? Absolute absolution. Partners in crime, sacrificial lamb.
You summon all your courage and speak up.
Your majesty, if you please. It was I who hit the ball over the castle wall. It was my fault completely. Please do not punish my friend.
The king eyes you carefully. You wonder if you are now in serious trouble.
I would not punish one for something so trivial. However, I will see you play your game elsewhere, away from here.
Yes, sire.
One more thing, my young fellow. You have demonstrated good character today by taking the blame for your friend. The finest knights in this realm demonstrate their compassion by protecting others, even if that should mean putting themselves at risk. I find that to be a rare quality in the many I meet. When you have grown up, I hope to see you again, perhaps in my service.
Thank you, your majesty.
Okay.
Behold your second test.
You feel yourself growing older, more so than before the tests began. Again, dizziness overcomes you. Your memory of the previous test fades, and in its place, your mind is filled with the knowledge of everything that has since come to pass. This includes, unfortunately, the dreadful misfortunes which have plagued Daventry since the coming of the terrible three-headed dragon. To make things worse, your 17-year-old daughter has been demanded as its latest sacrifice. In return, it will not harm the rest of the population until the next demand. You would go forth to destroy the dragon yourself, but you no longer have the heart for such quests. Never have you felt so forlorn, so frail. You fear that given the choice, you would do anything to rectify the situation.
A charming view. No wonder you come here so often.
You. I will see you hanged for this intrusion. Guards! Guards!
Calling them will do you no good. For even if they come, they will find their king speaking to only the air he breathes.
A pox on thee! Who are you?
My name, my true name, has been heard by none for nigh on a millennium. It is enough that you know me as the Father.
Then say what you have come to say and be gone.
You never were one for small talk.
You cursed my family. As a result, that dragon is now loose upon the land and one of my children was kidnapped.
Now that is not quite the truth.
Do you deny your involvement?
Not at all. It is just that you have omitted so much.
Speak and be gone.
Very well. I want your crown.
You cannot believe what you have just heard. This vile creature has caused untold misery throughout your land for nearly 18 years and has now infiltrated your castle just to ask that you hand over your authority to him? Of all the outrageous...
Is that what this is all about? You want to rule Daventry?
What would I want with a puny little kingdom when in a few short years I will have more power than Legitimor himself? No, I want only the thing you wear atop your head. Your crown. It is an essential part of my plan. Without it, my efforts to prepare for the ascension will have been in vain. I have waited far too long to be deterred from it now.
If you need it that badly, you could have just taken it. You had plenty of opportunities.
Are you completely ignorant of the legends of your predecessors? None can possess the crown of the first king unless it's given.
If you think for one moment that I would...
Before you speak further, consider this. In exchange for what I ask, I shall lift my curse and all that it entails from you and your blighted land. You shall have both it and your family restored in full. Minus your title, naturally.
Your mind reels at these words. For almost 2 decades, a countless number of innocent people have suffered under the afflictions Daventry has had to endure. So many more people would continue to suffer indefinitely, notwithstanding the pain you feel over your own family's misfortune. With a simple statement, you could put an end to it all.
Yeah, none of this stuff is good. Even if we give it to him, he's just gonna lie about it. I mean... And what's the point? Now we're not king anymore, and then he's gonna kill us anyways and destroy everything? No.
You shall never have the crown. And I shall make sure it will never be of any use to you. I would rather die than to risk it falling into your hands.
Such a foolish sacrifice. I suppose he thought of it as noble.
It is a good thing you cannot actually die during these tests. Quite convenient, really.
Behold your third test.
Once again, you feel yourself age. You are many years older now, though still, thankfully, King of Daventry. As before, the knowledge of the previous test ebbs from your mind. This time, however, it is filled with a greater knowledge of all that has come to pass thus far. Many years have passed. Your children, once heirs to your throne, have forged their own paths in other kingdoms. Fortunately, chance has seen fit to fill the vacuum. Following the restoration of the Mask of Eternity, Daventry now has a new champion.
How do you feel?
I am deeply honored, sire.
All right. Now, how do you really feel?
Scared out of my wits, sire.
You smile and feel the lines in your face stretch. You hope you'll get used to it when the true time comes.
You know what they've been saying. About my decision, that is.
The people question my ability to perform the duties when I have another higher obligation. I believe that I can attend to both with the utmost equity.
You do not deny that this obligation may arise at any moment, perhaps taking you away from this country at a time of great need?
Of course not, sire, but I shall deal with that troll, as they say, when I cross that bridge.
And there is the matter of you not being of royal birth. That does not sit comfortably with some of the nobles.
The qualities of truth, light, and order can shine from even the most impoverished of souls. Nobility is defined through one's actions, not one's lineage, Your Majesty.
You cannot help but smirk. For a man who had once lived as a peasant, he speaks extremely well.
Kneel. Your sword. By virtue of your bravery, loyalty, in good conscience, I have chosen you to be my first knight. Thus you are my successor and heir to this throne.
And it is the Mask of Eternity on either side from King's Quest VIII.
Arise, Sir Connor of Daventry.
In an instant, you find yourself standing before the Cloud Spirit once more. You also notice that it is starting to get dark.
Well, I hope we did okay.
You have demonstrated some understanding of compassion, honor, and loyalty. These attributes transcend the mind and speak of the soul within you. Growth continues unabated throughout the lives of all living things. While you still have much to learn, you will continue to grow in all ways. You are judged worthy of the Heir and Growth Gem.
You take the Growth Gem. As you feel the knowledge of the last test fade from your mind, the cloud beneath your feet begins to evaporate. You'd better get out of here quickly, Graham. Finally, your flight comes to an end. You hope that it will be quite a while before you take to the air again.
Where would you like me to land?
On the ground would be fine.
Take this sugar cube. It will protect against the poisonous growth of this land.
Odd,
Fare thee well.
but okay.
You notice you have lost a few things during your descent, mostly all that paper you were carrying. You are not concerned, though, as long as you don't get into trouble for littering. As dusk sets in and the pallid moon rises above the darkened horizon, you recall the Door of Destiny's words regarding the third gem, through swampy mire, in lone dark castle. Then you remember the great Neptune's disquiet reluctance to speak of Kalima's lord. You sense a growing unease that this final gem may not be the easiest to acquire.
Ah, yes, the church is now open, too. Very good. Well, let us end this episode. We are now at 2 out of 3 gems, so...
It is a slightly luminescent green stone about the size of your palm. It looks like a normal sugar cube. It does have a bit of sparkle, though.
All right. Let's save our game here, and we will call it a night. Thank you for joining me.